Hello everyone, this is CJNova992 and today we're back for the brand new video and can we take a moment to just appreciate not only the squeak chair but also the fact that it's been a beautiful, beautiful weekend. How's your weekend? How's it gone? Is it great? Is it lovely? Is it beautiful? It is for me, ladies and gentlemen, as not only do we get 3 points, 3 goals and closing in on the league table, we also keep the old back door shut and continue this monumentous swing in our favour, and aye, I'm just happy. And it's such a relief on my ticker that I get to sit here and be happy, because let's be honest, how many times has me and thee sat here after what could have been a beautiful weekend, what could have been an enjoyable weekend, and sit there and say, we pissed it all and so on again, we threw it away, we bottled this, we done that. We've done it so many times and it's been our Achilles heel every single time there's an ounce of blood in the water. We can't go and capitalise, and now we've got a manager that drives that standard, and now we have new players, fresh ideas coming away and squeezing and taking the team over the line. So that for me is something to be applauded. Now on the flip side, you'll get a lot of people saying it was Livingston, they're the worst team in the league, and I can't argue with that, ladies and gentlemen. But what I saw is a team that came to Ibrox looking to do nothing but time waste and limit the goal difference in a match, and we've seen that type of tactic before. It reminds me a couple of years ago, if you can remember, the Kilmarnock game where I sat here and said it's the single most negative team I've ever seen play at Ibrox, and I think they got a 0-0 draw at ours that day, or was it at Rugby Park? I can't remember the exact details, but I remember being absolutely infuriated having to sit and watch a team milk the clock for the very first minute. And I know that'll bring a conversation about resources, financials and everything like that, but what you saw the day was Rangers having 32 shots in the game. Livingston had 0 shots in the entire game of football. You saw a team that, despite being doing 2-0 in the second half, were still playing with 10 men inside their box, and people wonder why there's no money coming to our league, or why nobody's paying channels to put this on the telly, and why this league's not getting funded. It's because of stuff like this, and I know they're forced to do it, and this is certainly not a shot at Davy Martindale. If you've watched this channel before, I respect that man to the highest. What he's done for Livingston over the last couple of years is simply sensational, keeping them in the league, punching well above their weight. That man has done a miracle, but miracles aren't sustainable, aren't forever, and I think what you're seeing is a Martindale side that is running out of luck, because that is the worst I've seen since that Kilmarnock performance all those years ago. The team looked beat before they played, the team looked like they were just hanging on for a 0-0, and they tried every little trick in the book, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because all these tricks is what's helped and hurt us, in previous seasons, because we fell for it, we've got frustrated, we've lost the game plan, we've started arguing, we've started losing our heads. But what I seen was a professional performance today. Wasn't it great? Wasn't it beautiful football? It got better as the game went on, and there was some moments in the second half, but what I seen is a determined team that was fully concentrated on the task, and that was huffing and puffing and blowing that macaroni was doing. So what I'm basically saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is I think we can live in a world where we can be critical of how bad and admit how poor that Livingston side actually is, whilst also giving credit to the Rangers then for getting over a hump that stopped us year upon year. That is all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a couple of names I want to talk about regarding this game of football, because not only was it great to see the likes of Oscar Cortez and the pressure that's on that laddie, not to be a success right away, just to actually do a knee slide when he actually scored. Great to see him. But I want to talk about Ross McCausland first, and that might surprise a lot of people, because I can imagine you probably think I'm going here or there. But I want to talk about wee Ross, because Ross is starting to get a wee bit of stuff that we've seen in the previous years, where people start to get a bit nippy and a bit annoying. Again, it's not the majority, it'll just be about 5% of the actual support, but I didn't understand why, because what I'm seeing watching this laddie is a guy that came into the team. Again, he wasn't picked for the academy to be the star. No, Zach Lovelace was, and he looked at before he got a serious injury. That is what fell. That's the dominoes. This guy's taking his chance, almost like a Tom Brady when he was signed as drafted as a 7th rounder, getting on eventually when the starters get injured, and then he managed to take off. Now, I'm not saying that Ross McCausland will go and be the greatest of all time, but what I'm saying is sometimes opportunity presents itself, and you've got to grab it with both hands, whether you're ready or not. And I'd argue that Ross McCausland wasn't the finished article, and I wouldn't say he was ready to really go ahead and be the first starter. Again, Zach Lovelace was ahead of him in that pecking order. But what I've seen for this lad is he's took it in stride and he's working on his game. The mistakes that he's made in European football, no tracking back, no getting stuck in this. He's starting to slowly but surely learn and improving. What I saw today was a second assist in his last 3. The people that's hounding him saying he's not got good enough numbers, never that. Well, there you are if you're a numbers guy, and if you actually watch the game with your own eyes, you're seeing him not only being positive every time he gets the ball going forward, but what I'm seeing now is he's starting to learn the game the other way. He's coming back helping a Tavernier, he's coming back getting sliding in, he's intercepting the ball. So I just wanted to mention Ross McCausland, as he never really grabs the biggest headlines, and he's starting to become a little bit of a boy that can get slapped down here or there. I'm very proud of the 20-year-old laddie who again is jumping into very, very big shoes that weren't meant for him. So aye, credit to the young laddie. I think he's getting better and better, and now he's starting to get the stats that should appease some others. But appeasing takes me to the next guy we're going to talk about. The guy that I believe won not only Rangers TV Man of the Match I saw on Twitter, but also won the actual Man of the Match at the Game of Football as well, and that is none other than Todd TikTok Cantwell. You know what I mean? TikTok Todd, he cares more about his hair, he cares more about his handband, he's not doing enough, he's been poor, this and this and this, and what we're seeing now is Todd Cantwell actually coming on to a real game, adjusting to his new role and new responsibility under Clement, because it's no the same as Beale. He had the run, just go and do what you want under Beale. He was Beale's golden boy, if you will, and it looked iffy. He's been subbed off early, he's had a couple knocks that he's played through, and maybe to a detriment to himself because he's looked bad in the games, but he's trying to grip through, he's trying to play for his football club, he's trying to win the manager's trust, and for me he's starting to really do that as he's starting to put in performances. And we talked about stats for young Ross. Well, that is now Todd Cantwell's 4th goal in his last 6, and he's shown the form that he showed the season before, and it's great to see, because I was worried about how him and Big Clement would gel, but they're starting to slowly get in there, and I feel like we're building towards something very special in the team. And for me, he has got that creativity. He might frustrate, he might do that, but he's doing that and he's frustrating us because he tries things, he's brave, and the better Todd Cantwell gets, ladies and gentlemen, the better this team will get. And if you watch this channel regularly, especially the reactions, you'll probably know this is normally the part at the start. I talk about 2 or 3 players that stands out, and one of them's always Jack Butler, and I always praise him, give him a lot of plaudits, because I absolutely love watching this goalkeeper amongst the sticks. I can't really do that today, because the only thing that was in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, watching Jack Butler in this game of football is wondering if Rangers actually charge this guy ticket money to watch games of football. Give credit to the defence, give credit to the battling midfield, and give credit to the attack, if you will, that never gave Livingston a sniff again. 32 shots to 0, and that might sound like we absolutely played sensational. Whenever it was huffing and puffing, as we've already mentioned, and it took some time to actually get there. But that's what happens when one team's here to play football and one team's protecting goal difference, because they're either getting a 0-0, or if they go 1 down behind, 2-0 behind, 3, none of that matters, as it's just keeping it as low as possible to try and cling on in the old league football. So I give credit to the team where they got it, and I feel like we need to talk about the battling midfield, because it was interesting, right? The Celtic-Aberdeen game finished the way that it did. Everyone was excited, we were all interested, we were like, ooh, this is interesting, but again, we're all terrified for previous scars. It's happened as we usually bottle these types of games, and then you see the starting 11 come out, and be honest, I know we won comfortably, but did you know, sit and go, a little bit, because you see a bit of a negative team lineup or a negative aspect to CDMs. We've seen it before and everything like that, and it started getting a little bit nervy. You could feel it in the air. Love the change, by the way, with the fans up in the club deck. I know there wasn't too many of them for this game, obviously, but I liked that bit. Back to the atmosphere, it was a bit like, this is going to be interesting, but where a lot of people were saying it was defensive or it was poor or anything like that, what I think it actually is, I didn't think it was overly defensive for Clement, especially against a team like Livingston at home. What I actually think he did in this game of football was add physicality, if you get it, because Livingston's only chance in this game was a long throw or a corner. So I think when you put the likes of Jacko and Lundstrom, I know everyone's saying it's so negative, where's all the attackers, go with this. What I actually think he was doing is he was just adding physicality to help out from potential set pieces. You could say it was clever management in that aspect. So I wasn't that negative in terms of, oh, he's played negative. This is so poor for Rangers. I sort of understood it, but it didn't make it any easier to watch. But you can understand, because think it, I think they only had 2 or 3 long throws, but they got nowhere near it. You had the defence right there, and then you had Jack and Lundstrom just bullying their entire midfield. Say what you want about Jack, or say what you want about Lundstrom, but when they're together, It's a pretty tight padlock. And that actually gives me the perfect transition into the game recap, because the first attack, or the first chance, was actually from Jacko as he let one rip with the old lefty that forced a very good save into George. And I was surprised, because I thought Jacko just used his left to stand on, but it was a great effort, and what we saw was in swinging corners, troops. You know what I mean? See when you're against the likes of Livingston, see when it's no your day, see when it's frustrating, see when everybody starts to get nervous, what a difference in swinging corners actually make. Because yes, we only scored from one of them the day, but the difference in a threat, in attack, and causing havoc but back there doesn't even need me to mention. If you saw that game of football, you know what I talked about. Tavernier on one end, Barisic on the other, Ridvan when he eventually came on, dropping it on the money, the goalie was flat, I mean, it was getting clearances off the line, it was exciting, constantly creating opportunities. And it's no surprise to me that after a long spell of dangerous set pieces, that yes, we should have done better. Ross McCausland should have probably put the ball in the back of net in about the 17th, 18th minute when a ball drops there after the goalie palms it. Yes, we could have scored more, but the only thing that matters is we actually broke the deadlock through an in-swinger as it comes from the other side. Barisic whips it in. I believe Connor Goldson goes for a wee bit of the old karate kid on the player, and I know there is people screaming, look at this, it's a karate kid in the face, it should be given. If you actually see the angle from behind, if you watch it for more than just that one angle, you can see he is nowhere near the actual player, and the player actually handballs it down, by the way, but we'll leave that for another day because conspiracy theories won't care about that. But after the ball hits the defender in the air, it drops to Silva, who hits the ball in a swivel and sends us on our way, and that was one. But even that didn't change the game because of the negativity that Livingston actually brought to the table. 1-0 doesn't make Livingston go, right, we're going to need to go for it, it's going to be like that. It still is nervy at 1-0 as it is 0-0 when you play the likes of Livingston Football Club, especially at Ibrox, because it doesn't change the game plan. They'll just keep holding on, and then they'll try and nick it. Nothing changes at 1-0. It's all about grabbing that second goal, and I absolutely loved that it was Rabbi Matondo, because honestly, you see the stuff that was tweeted out about this lad at half time when you're sitting scrolling through. What's people saying about him and everything like that? This boy, you'd have thought, has just kicked everyone's maw in the dish, troops, because of the way folk were speaking about him. But I didn't get that, because he frustrates, right? But every single winger frustrates you. See the ones that are perfect every single time, they're no in Scottish football. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you look at this guy's highlights or you see this guy scoring a couple goals for Kilmarnock, you see this, watch their games, see how much he frustrates them as well. Watch every minute of their game, see what they can do. Wingers in this country will frustrate you because they'll have moments great and they'll have moments that's iffy. That's why they're playing here, ladies and gentlemen, and they're not the likes of Real Madrid. The wingers that are world class every time they touch it are all worth ridiculous amounts of moolah. Now, does that mean that we have to put up with Rabbi Matondo tripping at his feet all the time? Nah, troops, but that's the roller coaster you actually get with him. And what I saw is him taking men on, creating a couple wee half opportunities, spinning his man a couple times and willing to have a pop. We keep moaning that boys are shooting out of the bar and it's a poor shot, but then when they aren't shooting, when they keep passing it in the middle, we're screaming at them, no shooting, you know what I mean? It must drive players absolutely crazy. Like, what do you want? To hit it in the top bin every time. I thought Rabbi Matondo was at least positive when he tried to get the ball. Couple times he slowed it down, couple times he frustrated me, but again, that's the role a winger. It's not going to be perfect, or again, they wouldn't be here. And it's funny, right, because the first goal we talked about, the in-swinging goal that broke the first goal, or broke the scoreline, I should say, who won us that corner? Rabbi Matondo gambling in the middle, hitting a volley that was phenomenally saved by George. By the way, I know he flapped at a couple corners, but he was the man nutting, or the man nappering the day with a ridiculous save. So Rabbi Matondo's won us the corner that's got us the first goal, and then he goes ahead and scores the second one. And it's interesting because Barisic assisted him, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, maybe it was just the way I was seeing it. The amount of times Barisic got infuriated with Rabbi Matondo, or Rabbi Matondo got infuriated when he never got the ball to Barisic, I sit and says, these boys didn't like each other, or there's just no chemistry there. Maybe they've not played enough, maybe they've got different ideas on the game, but every time Barisic bombasted him and he never got it, he was fuming. And every time Barisic bombasted it and crossed it instead of passing it to Rabbi, Rabbi was fuming. So it's an absolutely perfect summary of what a marriage is like 30, 40 years down the line. They're barely talking at this point, but they can occasionally make magic as Barisic passes it out to Rabbi Matondo, who tees up his man, cuts inside, obviously takes a deflection, but it's into the back of net, and that truly was the goal that won us this game of football. That's what rips up the potential part the bus style tactic. That's what changes the conversation. And again, That's what gets us all 3 points. And I know you've heard this football saying so many times, but it's so true. What a difference a goal makes, because 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes into this game, it was painful to watch. It was sere. It was so slow. It was so passive. Again, we brought in the likes of Fabio, Silva. I'm not taking anything away. The lad, he really buzzing. He got his goal, but it was a tough shift for him the day up against the 2 banks, a 5 for Livingston, sitting on him constantly. But I thought he linked up the play a couple of times. He done all right. I was a wee bit surprised to see Dessers drop out, that he's actually feeling confident and he's that on form. But with games coming up, you can understand the rotation, and I'm sure there would be a wee bit under, as Clement's probably sick to death of hearing, why you not sign the striker? Why you not sign the striker? Well, go out and play him against the worst team in the league at home and show what he can do, because if he can't succeed in this game, is it going to be much a success there? And I'm glad he managed to get his goal, and for me there's a hell of a lot more to come. I know people are being a little bit critical about him here, there or there, but I don't really get that as well. I was actually quite positive, especially the longer the game went on. The wee one where he's chipped up and hit a volley that went just a little bit wide. I thought him and Cantwell's got really clever intelligence. Couple nice wee back heels to the likes of Rabbi Matondo linking up with McCausland. Considering the fact that he's not played much, there's something there in Fabio Silva, and I think he'll have much better overall games. But again, he got the goal that mattered, got the first goal in this game, which is great. But again, overall performances, he'll have much better in a Rangers shirt, and he could be a very important player as the games start to come thick and fast. But as I said, the 2 goals changed the game, so at half time you went from being infuriated 15 minutes before to absolutely buzzing and loving life. The only real thing to worry about was obviously Balogun, who was subbed off for the concussion protocol after a really painful header. Big, brave, everything you're expecting for Big Balogun, so hopefully the big man is alright. And also that explains why we were still able to go make 5 other substitute appearances. I know I saw some tweets and everything like that people were saying, how's Rangers made 6 subs? It's cheating and everything like that. Well, Balogun went off with the concussion protocol, which allows you to make that substitution, and then Rangers went ahead to make 5 subs. So there you are. It's no world wild conspiracies. If it was somebody who got a second yellow card in the first game that was on the day at half 12, but we won't hear anything about that, it'll probably be about Rangers using the rule correctly and having a concussion sub. But we've still got a second half to talk about, which results with 1 goal. 1 should be goal. Why did you do it to me, Dessers? You know what I mean? I want so much to love you, Dessers. I want you so much to champion you. Then you do that. We'll get to it. I'll get there in a couple minutes. We'll have another couple moments where we force Big George into big saves as well. But for me, I want to talk about the best bit of football all day was the 3rd goal scored by Rangers, and it's no surprise that Todd Cantwell was heavily involved. And it picks the ball up, runs with the football, beautiful curling pass out to Ross McCausland. McCausland heat up, driving, being positive, plays the ball in, perfect speed, perfectly placed, and Todd Cantwell was able to hit it on a stride. And when it's played like that, you know, when football's played like that, it's made to look so simple. And I think when football looks simple, that means you've absolutely nailed it. This goal right here is so damn beautiful, brilliantly finished, brilliantly created, brilliantly driven to start for Cantwell. It was Rangers free, and it was party mode at that point. And I started getting excited about the old goal difference. We're like, go and get it, go and get it. Go and get it. And look, I think it's one of these things that you need to look at and start giving a wee bit of credit to the opposition, because we started to make subs. The likes of Oscar Cortes come in, and didn't I tell you he's positive? Huh? Every time he touched that ball, he put one straight, he ran straight at his fullback, whipped one in for Silva, who again hit it up in the air, tried to hit a volley. It was about maybe a yard or 2 wide. Great bit of skill. Another one, he just fires the ball at Ridvan Yilmaz, and Ridvan's able to take it in the stride, play it in, that nearly creates another goal. And then we had Ross McCausland nearly getting another goal in 2 separate occasions. One of them where he just turns his man, and it's that low centre of gravity. They just turned, I think it was Sangari at that point, just turned him inside out, man. Honestly, it looked like Tina Turner for a second there, and he just sprints right into the actual box, forces George into save, and I'm going, that's a brilliant save again. Unlucky for Ross. The ball goes out to Lawrence. Lawrence curls it to the back post, where incoming wee Ross ghosting in, that forces George into another save. And George, you ruined me the night, by the way, because I could have had more goals, and especially could have had a Ross McCausland goal. I want them, son, so I'm no really happy at you. But what I was happy on to see Dessers, because again, I want him to do well, because we need him in the stretch. We're not making a signing. We're not getting Hearts. We're not getting Majowski. We're not getting him this summer, right? What is winter, spring? I don't know. This transfer period is done and dusty. What we have is Dessers. What we have is Silva, and we have the likes of Danilo coming back, Roof coming back for 10 minutes. We've got strikers coming back, so what we have to do is back who we've got, and I just want Dessers to do well. So when the ball came in, troops, whipped in beautifully. It was actually helped created by Oscar. It goes out wide. Scott Wright, give him credit, runs to the byline, whips in. Oscar tries to get there, commits the defender. It drops. I'm going, Dessers, go on, big man. I'm up, ready to start taking the tap off. And somehow, some way, he's cleared it out of the bar and got 3 points in American football. And you know, my missus ended up texting me and everything like this. I'll put on the screen right now. Why does he always score worldies? I wish I knew, Mrs. Noble 992. I wish I knew. Between Rabbi, Matondo and Dessers, this club's going to kill me, by the way, because I just never know what I'm going to get with them. Both of them are a wild, wild experience, and Dessers should score, but how many times have I said that? And then I'll say, how's he scored that? It's the way with Big Dessers. Gutty, they missed it, but I know he's trying to blame the surface, or he's blaming the ground, or the atmosphere, or the global warming. I don't know what he's actually blaming. He's trying to blame sun, but it's just a poor finish for Dessers. But that really should have been 4, ladies and gentlemen. That was the wildest that actually came on, the most open, and he ended up coming. Hold on a minute there, CJ. I just need to interrupt myself. Gone to the past that is now my future, which will soon be your present. I don't know what's just happened, but I nearly forgot about one thing that I probably deleted from my mind, troops, as I forgot about Ridvan's cheeky little effort that hit the bar. And do you know why it hit the bar and never went in? Because this guy right here in fantasy football took a -4 to bring him in this week. Then we start Barisic and become Cross FC again instead of Ridvan driving forward. Phenomenal effort. It's so cheeky. Heat up, means it completely, just wants to dip it into the back of the net, and it's so unlucky, but it's my fault. Sorry everybody, sorry little Ridvan, it's my fault. I took a -4 on you, it bring you into fantasy football. That's why the footballing gods were against us, as it tickled the bar and didn't go in. But I'm away to be sick again, as I got a -4, so Anyway, take it easy. Back to me. Livingston never offered nothing in the game. Again, Jack Butland basically had a lawn chair listening to audiobooks for the majority of that game of football. Had another couple of wee nice moments for Lawrence, starting to heat up, nice little turns, but we couldn't break the deadlock, or break the 3rd goal streak anyway, and that's the way the game ended up finishing. Rangers 3, Livingston 0. I like Big Martindale, wish him all the best, but he probably should have took that offer when he was given it a couple months ago, as that team, he's just been strangled out of it because it's absolutely rotten. But I'm proud of the Rangers team for overcoming that, because you can come up against a team that's not got much going for them going forward, but can hang in and frustrate you. This is Rangers fans. We're all sitting talking. We've seen that team. We know Kilmarnock. We know Livingston at the Tony Macaroni. We fell to this before in previous seasons, but to come away with that, to have a manager making attacking subs at 3-0, more subs, wanting more goals, pressing them forward, demanding a wee bit more, I'm really, really happy where I am as a Rangers fan and where this Rangers team actually is right now. Roll on Tuesday. I know it's a difficult game, but believe in your team. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got to say about it right now. Ugly, aye, but did it end happily? Yes. Basically, just like every single romantic teen comedy of all time. That way it starts, that way it ends, was this game right here. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Who stood out to you? I'm going to give the man of the match at Cantwell. I thought Lunny was great as well in the middle part. I thought Jacko was great in the middle part, but I'm going to give it to Todd Cantwell. The boys took absolute stinkers all season. Now he's really coming into the game. 4 goals in his last 6. We need players to heat up. We need players to get better, and he's doing that, and he's coming to the boil, ladies and gentlemen. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. And as always, the next time you see me will be Monday. Till then, take care of yourselves, all the best, and bye-bye.